Hey guys, this is Tim with Decoding Panels right here on the Codex Station. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you know when we've got this and other great stories coming your way, along with new episodes of the Codex podcast, Breaking the Code, one-shots, mail call, and more. All right, ready? Sit back, relax, and let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Decoding Panels, ladies and gentlemen. This week it is issue number 3 of Dark Knights of Steel, and boy, oh boy, are we in for a wild one. Now, if you haven't read the first 2 issues of the series, go find them at your local comic shop, then come back here for Dark Knights of Steel, Decoding Panel style. All right, let's get into the credits for this issue. As before, credits go to the wonderful creative team of writing for Tom Taylor, artwork goes to Yasmin Putri, colors Arif Prianto, and letters to Wes Abbott. Now, with the past 2 issues, we've already seen some pretty jaw-dropping things. I mean, the death of Jor-El, Bruce with powers, kingdoms on the brink of war, and a prophecy. How will it all play out? What are the next moves in this deadly game of chess? Let's find out in Dark Knights of Steel number 3. From the stars, it comes. A young James Olsen watches something from the heavens streak toward the ground. "Fetch me a robin, quickly," he shouts. A page is bewildered, asking what it could be, but even Master Olsen does not yet know. A star from the skies has fallen. A green, deadly, crystalline star. We need the Batman. Bruce stands before the royal family, a general and a jester, explaining his findings. Whatever it was fell about a half-day's ride to the east. I will take Alfred and we will investigate. General Waller openly disagrees. "We have been attacked, Bruce. Now is hardly the time for you to go off on some quest." "Come from the stars," he says, repeating the prophecy. General Waller, "I'm not sure now is the time to ignore just how the prophecy begins." Kal-El brushes it off completely. "Superstition. Nothing more. The planet I came from didn't even have such nonsense." Harley, however, chimes in, ever wise. "Well, your homeworld kind of blew up, so maybe not the best example. I mean, ominous warnings could have helped you all out, you know?" The Queen rises. Her decision is final. She looks at Bruce. "Go, but be careful. Learn what you can and return just as quickly. We will not bury the king until my daughter is safely here and you have returned." Bruce kneels with great respect. "Thank you, Your Majesty." He rises and turns to Harley. "You will speak with the Lady of the Forest?" he asks. "I will, but she's not going to like it very much." "No, I suppose she won't. We will move quickly. We won't have been the only people to see that star fall." The land of Magnus. Multicolored knights ride together, searching, hunting. "There!" one shouts. Gold gives the command. "Lead, take a look." Someone is in his path, however. "Metal men? I've heard of you," they say. "Good, peasant. We haven't heard of you. Step aside." The hood of the cloak comes off, and the daughter of the queen, Zala Jor-El, appears. "Peasant?" she says, almost playfully. Gold is not playful, however. His sword goes mere inches from her as he commands. "What do the elves want on Magnus land?" he shouts. She grabs his sword, the blade not even so much as making a nick to her skin. "They won't be Magnus lands for much longer," she says. In a swift motion, the blade is snapped and Zala's arm goes through the proud knight of the metal men. Gold is no more. His body tossed aside like garbage, Zala brings her attention to the rest. Red beams of viciously deadly energy scream from her eyes as 2 of the metal men are effortlessly taken out. She goes to the next, and the next, and the next, each death more brutal than the last. A final, desperate attempt to take her down ends in failure. The last that is seen from the metal men is red, the color of their own blood. Amazon Island. Lois approaches. Queen Hippolyta, General Philippus. What is it, Lois? The Queen asks. King Jefferson approaches. Might I ask why? The Queen says. This is most unexpected. His son, he was murdered. This is shocking news. The Queen cannot believe this. Philippus speaks. How did this happen? Who did this? My sources haven't been able to gather enough information yet, General. But you have suspicions. Who? Nobody yet, but it seems very likely this is some type of reprisal for the death of Jor-El. Killing the boy, though, that just makes no sense. She looks at Hippolyta. My queen, King Jefferson is mere hours away. What would you have me do? Get Diana, she says. We will meet Jefferson on the shore. The king's ship has arrived, and he and a small selection of his guards join him. He walks the dock and greets the Queen of Amazonia. Queen Hippolyta, he says. Your Majesty, she replies. 1 foot steps onto the shores of the island, and instantly he is greeted by 2 swords, ready to strike him down. Halt, Diana commands. King Jefferson's guards react on instinct. Release the king, they shout. It is Constantine who eases the tensions. Whoa, easy now. Let's not have a full-scale war of something so simple as a foot. Queen Hippolyta states the facts. You know the rules here, Jefferson. No man shall step foot on the shores of this island. Of course, he says. My apologies. Constantine and Lois greet each other. Might I suggest a chat on board the ship rather than this tense standoff we're in now? He says. Do you honestly expect me to allow my queen to board that ship? Lois replies in return. Constantine is offended. Why do you think she wouldn't be safe on board? Well, I'm confident you're the result of at least one monarch's death already this week, John. He can't disagree. Hippolyta calms Lois down. It's all right. We can trust the kingdom of storms. Moments later, King Jefferson is talking about his son, Jacob. He was gifted, he says. He could bring rain, control it in a way not seen for generations. I promised his mother before she went. It's too much for him. He turns away as tears begin to come. Hippolyta expresses her condolences, but the question must be asked. Did you have Jor-El killed? It's stated simply, but firmly. King Jefferson replies, I absolutely did. Anger begins to swell now. I could not simply sit by and wait any longer. I had to act to save our world, and I was right. I've since seen their power, right alongside their evil. What? Whose power? The Queen asks. Constantine knows what's coming next. Zala Jor-El murdered my son. Diana cannot believe what she's hearing. It can't possibly be. But it most definitely is. Diana shouts, defending Zala. She would never do anything like this. Jefferson reacts, his own power showing as lightning erupts from the table as he slams his fist into it. She most certainly did, he shouts. The king recounts the events. She struck at night. She took him into the sky and dropped him. She took away my prince, my son, and she smiled as she did it. Why would she do that, Lois asks. If it was a surprise attack, why did she just not simply destroy the castle with all of you in it? She's certainly strong enough. You want me to stop and consider why she murdered my son? Absolutely. King Jefferson turns his anger and frustration to the Queen now. You know the prophecy. You know the danger they pose, and yet you let your daughter consort with my king, Constantine shouts. If the king continues, nothing good will come from what happens next. Hippolyta does not stand, but her voice speaks volumes. Do not think to come to my shores and lecture me, Jefferson, nor do you involve Diana. Yes, I am aware of the prophecy. I also know that a future in the process of being written is very dangerous, and fate is never simple. A war is coming with the elves. You now know this. You are either with the world or against it. Our realms have stood together for generations. Will you stand with me now? Diana reaches for her mother. We can't, she says. Hippolyta sits silent, thinking. Finally, she speaks. If war is unavoidable, we will not abandon the kingdom of storms. Diana has had enough. This is insane. She begins to leave, but her mother calls to her. No, mother, I am leaving. You would abandon this island? These are your people, Diana. And this is not their war, she shouts back. We have always stood with the kingdom of storms, and they with us. Tradition is a terrible thing to have Amazons die for. Diana, I forbid you to leave. The Queen has commanded. Nobody here can stop me. As the Wonder Woman leaps from the boat, her mother calls to her one last time. Her voice falls on deaf ears. Diana readies her mount. Lois approaches. You're going then, she asks. Zala could not have done what Jefferson accuses her of doing. I'm going to the elves. I'm sorry. Why apologize? Lois asks. Oh, wait. The treason. Well, yes, Diana replies. Don't worry about that now. The Batman has his little Robins in Jefferson's court. The elves will know all of this soon enough. There is nothing treasonous about trying to bring peace, Princess. Now go. Stop a war. And find the truth. The high seas. Sails are full as the ship races back to its home. Constantine and King Jefferson stand on the deck. That could have been done a little more diplomatic, he says. Hippolyta will stand beside us when the time comes. That's all that matters now, Constantine. That's all that matters? The biggest weapon the Amazons have. You just gave to the elves. Did I? The king asks. Or did I remove the biggest supporter they have from the Amazonian court? You, Constantine, can't help but marvel at this. I sometimes forget how conniving kings can truly be, he says. We wouldn't rule for long if we didn't know how to play this game. A scout shouts from the crow's nest. My king, look! Up in the sky! Zala hovers before the ship. You met with the Amazons, she says. King Jefferson, however, is in no mood. I wasn't prepared for you last we met. Electricity begins to surge, his power swelling. I am ready for you now! A bolt of lightning, like none anyone has seen before, strikes Zala Jor-El in the chest. Her body plummets, crashing into the water below. Constantine shouts as he prepares magic of his own. Does anyone see her? Did you see where she fell? Anyone? Zala erupts from the ocean below like an arrow, a sonic boom following behind her. The ship explodes into splinters around everyone. Get to the lifeboats, the king shouts. Abandon ship! Abandon... His final command is cut short as a splintered piece of his own ship bursts through his chest. Zala stands behind him. No more kings, she says. She leaps to the sky, leaving devastation and death in her wake. She cares not. Constantine takes the hand of his king, his friend. I'm sorry. I didn't see her. I didn't. It's okay, the king says, struggling. You are not at fault, my friend. With his last breaths, he gives one final command. John, listen. Anissa, she is queen now. She'll need you. Fight. This world, it can be so beautiful. Don't let them take it. And with that, the King of Storms is no more. The land of Magnus. Bruce surveys the death before him. I knew these people. My God, Alfred says. The Metal Men. Bruce recites a piece of the prophecy. People will tear as easily as parchment. He turns to Alfred. Stay near me. Whatever did this could still be out there. No, I don't think so, Alfred says. Whoever or whatever crashed here is gone. Bruce finds something in the rubble. What is it? Alfred asks, picking it up. Giving it a closer examination, Bruce begins to feel its power. I'm not sure. I feel... He collapses, and Alfred shouts his name, tossing the glowing stone to the side. Bruce is feeling the effects, hard, as Alfred rushes to him. It didn't affect you, Bruce says. No, it did not. I think it hurt me because of who I am, who I really am. Alfred, I need to tell you something. It's all right, son, Alfred says. I already know all of it. And now it is time for you to learn the truth. Wow! Guys, what a bunch of events taking place in issue number 3. This is absolutely crazy to me. This is total bananas. And I am so excited to continue on with this story. I mean, the death of King Pierce, King Jefferson. Oh my God. I'm at a loss for words. I don't have much more to say except, wow, this is fantastic. And I know it's just going to get better from here. So, wow, I can't believe it. Guys, if you liked what you saw and heard here today, because I did, be sure to hit the subscribe button, light up that notification bell, and like this video so you'll know when the next episodes from the Codex Station come out. As always, my name is Tim, this is Decoding Panels, and I will see you next time.